raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation where you've been so frustrated that you couldn't get out what you wanted to say. Okay. Raise your hand if you've been so frustrated, so angry, that how you wanted to say it just didn't come out right. Raise your hand if you have heard of emotional intelligence. So as you can see, a lot of us, in fact all of us, find expressing emotions quite difficult. So difficult that the entire world has now claimed it as a world problem. It is now attached to the decrease in men's mental health. Expressing emotion is something that men don't even want to talk about. 40% of men don't like to talk about their emotions. 40%. That's over 20 people in this room. Expressing emotions is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not about understanding people's feelings. It's far more than that. Emotional intelligence is about having the clarity, conviction, and awareness of yourself in circumstances that you may not have created. Emotional intelligence is about using your emotion to influence those circumstances to create a more sustainable and flourishing world. Now imagine being able to teach our children this. Imagine an entire generation who are emotionally intelligent. Imagine the leaders of tomorrow leading with emotion. What a great society that will be. And we've been looking for the tools to get there, to get that next generation who are emotionally intelligent. What we haven't realized is that those tools are right under our noses. They are the foundation of Hindu arts. Hindu arts were built through the development of emotion, through leading with emotion to reach an audience. Now, having trained in Kathak, on a daily basis, we would develop in ourselves 2 different energies. And we would develop the skills to understand how to use these energies and when to use and how to choose which one. I could tell you a story in a very Shiv manner, direct, focused, with clarity. Or I could tell you in a very Shakti manner, gradual, soft. The same message, 2 very different energies. And as you develop this as a student, you're developing this as an artist, a performer. And what you realize is that this is within you, and therefore developing as a person. This is emotional intelligence. As a student, you learn this on stage and off stage. Music. Sri Hari Prasad Chaurasia brought the bansuri, the flute, to the world stage. Now, when you and I think of the flute as a community, we think of Krishna. But are we thinking of Krishna, or are we thinking of the Shringar that Krishna shows, the story he is telling through love? Whenever you hear the flute being played by Krishna, it is the love he is showing. We, as an audience, connect with that love through the sound of the bansuri. Sri Hari Prasad Chaurasia does just that. He transforms the audience through this emotion. And his legacy shows emotional intelligence. Why? Because the generations that came after him of flute players also are able to perform, to transform that audience through the emotion of love. This is emotional intelligence. What is really important is that whether it's dance or music, you as an audience are feeling that emotion, or you as a performer are influencing through emotion. Confidence. Confidence is having the clarity, conviction, and awareness of yourself in any circumstance. Confidence is emotional intelligence. And for me, how I developed my confidence was through Kathak. At the peak of my Kathak education, I was in formal education in high school. The fundamental difference between the two types of education is really clear. In, say, my formal education in high school, take an English class, you would learn to analyze a poem or a piece of literature through the eyes of the author, what the author wants to tell, what the author is trying to say. That meant, through the eyes of the author, it meant what I was learning was exactly the same as the student right next to me. How I was learning was exactly the same as the student right next to me. In Kathak, you learn in a very traditional style, a bit like how you would learn shloks from the Vedas, through recital, through experience, through how it impacts you. With this, as an audience member of your Gurujis, you learn through your experience and how the emotions make you trained in that field. With this, you build your confidence in yourself. Because how I'm learning and what makes me an artist or a performer is completely different to the student next to me. What I take on in Hindu arts as that field is the confidence in my experience and the emotions that I attach to it. And that's the difference. And to me, that is why I built my confidence and how I built my confidence. Using experience and emotional development to build yourself, to develop yourself, is true confidence in who you are, the clarity, conviction, and awareness of who you are. Confidence is emotional intelligence. And as we come to the conclusion of this journey, I have shown you in a very Shakti, gradual manner what the next generation needs to do to become emotionally intelligent. Now, I tell you in a very Shiv, direct manner what you need to do to make that a reality. I encourage you to submit your children into those classes of Hindu arts. Support them to pursue those passions of Hindu arts. If your son is in a dance class or a music class pursuing Hindu arts, support him to go further, even when he feels he's the only boy in that class. If your daughter wants to continue in those arts, but she's seeing her peers drop out because of GCSEs, A-levels, or when life responsibilities come, support her to continue. Their emotional development depends on it. I encourage you to continue to support the platforms that are supporting and giving the space needed for these Hindu arts. The mandirs, the gurudwaras who are funding these Hindu arts, who are holding these classes. I support you to go to performances yourself. Immerse yourself in these emotions. See how you're transformed as an audience member. This is a reality. This is a possibility. But it's in your hands.